All right, guys, welcome. So today we're going to talk about expression in our instrument and how do we make things. I was hoping that we get people from other instruments as well, because a lot of these concepts are applicable to piano and I mean, obviously the voice, the human voice. But it's fine. Like, we guitar players can band together and make this work. So yeah, it's amazing, and that is not a play on words on our chosen song. It's amazing how how you execute a note can change the way it feels. For instance, you guys have on your handouts, you have the tab for Amazing Grace, right? And I wrote in two keys because I don't know if you like it in G, you like it in C. So I wrote in two keys. And the melody, if we play it like this, that's not very exciting. And that's the way maybe a day one student might play that melody. Because they're busy enough with just trying to make the instrument work, so you don't have any space, any cognitive space to articulate. But you know, if you've been playing the guitar for any length of time and you play a melody like that, we gotta talk. You can't be playing like that. So instead, and I heard you guys already doing it, and I think it's great because it shows me that I've done a good job, Joe, and you understand the importance of expression, and you were messing with it already, right? Well, that was off camera, so it's not in the video, but it sounded good. So you do things like you approach the note by a slide, right? So if let's switch to the C key, and I go like, you know, and just adding slides changes how the melody feels. Now, if I add bends to it, and I go, right? Even if the bend is a little bit, you can mess with the intonation in the bend. It doesn't have to be like a perfect, you know, right in tune. It can be just a hair flat or a hair sharp for the sake of, I mean, you gotta have good intonation in your bends. I'm not advocating for bad intonation in your bends. You have to have good intonation, but you can play with that. So the first one was a little flat, and then the second one, you know, we scooped it up a little. And it changes how it feels, because it pulls you in. The person pulls you in.
Gives tension.
Yeah, exactly, tension.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't sound wrong. Well, I mean, right now I'm playing without accompaniment. But even if somebody was playing the chord, somebody was playing a C chord, right? And I think C is still being played with. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't really change to the F until the. So yeah. So even the still over a C chord. So if you all were to play, one of you or both of you, I don't care, were to play a C chord for me, or you could play a C chord for me, whoever, who wants to play a C chord for me? Oh, you want me more?
Yeah, somebody.
No, oh, you want me here? There you go. Okay. So if we get that and we go like, right? So notice how even though the intonation was not the same on both notes, it worked, right? There's a difference between that and playing out of tune. You don't want to play out of tune. If you were like, I'm gonna try to do it, it's gonna be painful. But
I mean, even that sounded okay.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
It's hard not to. How do I play it wrong? Yeah, it's so after you've done it for a while, you learn to play in an expressive way. So even the mistakes, you treat them as if they were grace notes, you know, and just mess with them. So yeah. So let's talk about vibrato. So vibrato, and this is something that I don't know if I'll be able to demonstrate the wrong way to do this, but sometimes I get students that they're self-taught and they do this. What I call it the mosquito vibrato, where they sit there and they play a note and it's like really narrow, really fast, maybe irregular, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes.
It's like that high fixed vibrato.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
it's
a
like-
laser beam.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, like that laser beam sound. When you work on your vibrato, and I think all of you guys know this, you want to make sure that you have control of the note. You want to control the rate, and you want to control the depth of your vibrato. So you can make a very wide vibrato and make it sound good. You can make it a little bit more narrow and make it sound good. You can make a slow vibrato and make it sound good, or very fast and make it sound good. Like B.B. King had a crazy fast vibrato, and nobody's gonna argue that his sound was amazing. I mean, I tried for years to emulate his sound, and I couldn't. There's only one B.B. King. And then you have guys like Clapton who are a little bit more in the middle, stuff like that. But bending a note and adding vibrato to it, I think it's important to not let the vibrato get in the way of the intonation. So if you're playing well, let's go back to Amazing Grace, and I'm going like, and I want to add vibrato to that second note. If I add the vibrato right away, now you never heard the note, and all you hear is this whoa, 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 whoa sound,
Yeah.
right? It's not good. Think about hitting the note and then add the vibrato afterwards. Especially if you got distortion, you can sustain longer, right? So if I were to play this with a dirty tone, I have enough sustain that I can make that work and vibrate a little bit more. But even with a clean sound, I can get back and do it, make it work. Dynamics is something else that's important, right? Notice that all my notes are not all the same volume. I didn't do this. I mean, I added the bends, I did everything. I was in time. What was wrong with that? What's wrong? What's wrong with that playing?
All the notes had the same attack in the same volume.
Exactly. All the notes had the same attack in the same volume. That means that my dynamics were all the same. It's very robotic sounding. We need to, it's almost like talking, right? We've all had the teacher that has that really monotone voice and his tone never changes and his speed never changes and he talks long enough. Eventually you go to sleep, right? So no, if you want to engage your students, right, teachers out there, pay attention. If you engage your students, you play with the tone of your voice, the speed, the cadence, you leave pauses for emphasis. And so that way you draw your students in, they will listen, and hopefully you'll have something meaningful to say. And then your students will actually learn something. Well, a guitar solo is like that. You're communicating, you're presenting material. So it should be just like that. So I can make my notes quiet or loud. That first can be quiet, I can drag it. And notice that then I played with the intonation of the note, I played with the width of my vibrato, I played with the dynamics, I played with how I attacked each note. And they all changed the feel of that melody. I played that melody now 4 times, and each time it sounded different. It felt different. And that's the power of articulation. Let's see if I'm forgetting something. I made notes for myself here because I tend to ramble. Let's see, phrasing. When you're playing a pre-made melody like Amazing Grace, phrasing doesn't apply as much as when you're improvising. It still applies because the way you split your the components of the melody, like what I'm doing right now. I keep playing the same part of the melody over and over and over again. Because to me, like that's a sentence. The finished sentence, right? And then I'm gonna say something else. So I forgot which note it was. So it works. It works out when now I'm playing the other sentence, and that would be phrasing when I'm playing somebody else's melody. But if I'm improvising and I'm playing licks, the difference between you sounding like you copy pasted your favorite licks from your favorite guitar players, and you sounding like you're playing a guitar solo, is your phrasing. If I take and I know I have some basic phrases, but I want to look at those a little bit later. But if I take, let's say we have this lick, that lick, and we have this lick, and let's say that we have, they're all pentatonic licks, and let's say that we have, let's do something not pentatonic. What key am I in? B minor. So, and maybe. Let's look at that. We have a minor scale run basically. And I want to connect those things together. Well, that's in a different key, huh? We'll have to go there. Okay, so one more time. And then I can never remember where I played last. My buddy Matt used to tell me all the time, just play the same damn solo, and I would always change it. But you hear sort of like everything has a beginning and an end, right? On all the things that I played, there's sort of and there's a link between the phrases. It's like they go together, right? Now I played only 3 phrases, so I left it open. It's like I asked a question and I never answered it, right? But if you look at the first 2, that's a question. And then there's my answer, right? And now it's done, right? Solo done. I can walk off the stage. Nobody will get upset, right? Obviously that doesn't happen. You gotta play a little bit more. Or at least we guitar players would like to think that people want to hear more guitar. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes that's all they want to hear, and it's done. let the singer sing, right? Oh, you're a singer.
Not in the traditional sense.
Yeah, but you're the lead vocalist of your band. I forgot about that. Yeah. So okay, I shouldn't talk so much smack about singers. Lon is not here, so I can take advantage of that. But then I would have to add something else, right, to continue that, and that's basically what phrasing is. Notice the variance in the rhythm, right, when I'm playing these phrases. And tab is super useful for that because I keep wanting to get ahead to that, but it's real useful because there's no pre-written rhythm. So that's one of the weaknesses of tab when we're trying to transcribe other people's music, is that there's no rhythm. So if you don't know the song, you cannot play it. But if you write down material for improvisation using tablature, or alternatively, you can write it in standard notation with no stems, just the dots. But now you have something you can play around with rhythmically. You have 3, 4, 5 notes, and you spread them across 1 or 2 measures, and you phrase it any way you want. You can mess with the rhythm, and they're gonna sound very, very different. Like this same line I keep playing, I could go, that sounds one way, and then I have the other one, the other way that I'm playing it. I could play it, do that, or I could go, I don't know. and just keep messing with it and finding rhythmic variants with it. So yeah, so that's basically what being expressive in your playing means. And we all have influences. I know for me, Steve Vai was pretty big when I was a kid. Not big because he was never big in terms of popularity, but he was big to me. And for a long time, I wanted to sound like him, and then I got sad when I figured out that I couldn't. And then I heard something that Steve Moore said that sort of opened my eyes to something. He said, this was one of his old instructional videos. It was VHS, and he said that everybody's different, so everybody playing an instrument should sound different. And I was like, oh, well, duh, right? Like I don't talk like other people. You may hear some influence, like where I'm from and everything else, where I grew up, all that stuff. But ultimately, I talk like myself. My playing should be the same way. But you have influences, and in the end, I end up being like a combination. Just like when you are growing up, like your parents are a pretty big influence, and then your friends from high school are influence you in a certain way, and then you have many people that come up throughout your life, maybe a teacher or somebody that impacts your life, and you cite them as an influence. I think musically it's the same way. We have people like that influence us. So, in terms of like expressiveness, who are some musicians that you look up to? That's a.
Looking at me.
I'm looking at everybody. It's a. I know it's a kind of a personal question, but I always I find that interesting, and it's something I realize I haven't asked you guys.
John Mayer.
John Mayer. Yeah, I know that about you because that comes out when you play.
David Gilmour.
David Gilmour, that's a good one. Nice.
Mohammed Shumas.
Oh, I've never heard of him.
Oh yeah.
He wait, is that the guy that plays that Egyptian?
No, that's Carl Sanders.
Oh, okay.
He's good too, but Mohammed Shumas is probably one of my biggest guitar influences.
Okay, I need to listen to Mohammed Shumas. What does he sound like?
Like Paganini if he had distortion.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's really cool, and that makes sense for you because you're a violinist too.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I can see that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, for me, I think it was when I was a kid. The first guy that had me thinking about how you actually play each individual note was Eric Clapton first, and you see a little. That's why there's so much blues in my soloing because of Clapton. Stevie Ray Vaughan later on. Via Slash, because I think I was like 12 or no, I was 14 or 15, and somewhere he cited that he liked Stevie Ray Vaughan, so I checked him out, and I was like, oh, cool, like Stevie Ray something else. And then so that was a little bit like heavier electric blues, closer to rock. And then once I started playing rock, I was kind of like a blues player playing rock until I heard Joseph Trignani, Flying in a Blue Dream, that album, hugely influential. And then Passion and Warfare by Steve Vai, like that. And that's the album that I show everybody. I'm like, oh, you want to hear what a guitar electric can sound like? Check this out. And I know, like, in terms of like technique and flashiness and stuff, the guitar has come so much further now. Like what he does now doesn't sound impressive from a technical sense anymore. But the emotional content of what he did when he did it is still relevant today. Maybe even more so than before, So I that's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have one, so it's fine. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna play something, and I want you guys to give it back to me with your own twist. Okay. So these are not phrases that I've written in the tab. You won't have the handout, but you'll be able to see my hands and you'll be able to hear them. And the phrases will be simple. So we're gonna start with this one. You guys have heard already, and I probably taught it to you already. This phrase. And then I'm gonna play one more time, and then I want each one of you to go in turns. But we're just gonna make rounds, basically, doing that. So. Okay, so now, who's first?
What, play again?
There it is. Yeah, it's pentatonic. And then I'm bending the same note. Yeah. Yeah.
Am I forgetting it?
Yes. And then, there you go. That's it. Okay. So now, so this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna play the phrase back, and then you're gonna change it in your own way. Just give it back to me.
So play it straight and then play it
And then
again,
and then yeah,
with a twist.
yeah, with a twist, with your own twist.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Change the timing a little bit. You can explore more. You can
Okay.
change the notes if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's a good variant. Who's next?
I'll go it again. Play it. Is that it?
Yeah. Okay.
There's a couple notes.
Yeah. You added a couple notes in there. I thought you were gonna go somewhere else when you went the. And then you.
I felt like the
I
beginning.
heard that in there. Yeah. No, I like it. And then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep. That's the phrase as it is.
Trying
Okay.
to do a pentatonic, but you can't hear nothing.
Oh, you're not plugged in?
No.
I'm gonna am.
Yeah. Get him on the app. Okay. So let's try. Okay. So I'll play it right this time.
You guys memorize all that?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like I'm back in class to play something at the piano. Just like write that down.
I think that was 8 measures.
Yeah. So the more you explore, right? Even a phrase like that, it's simply like, oh, it's fast. It cannot be expressive. Absolutely not true. You can play fast and still be expressive. All right, so I'm hearing really good stuff. Let me hear you all one by one.
Okay.
All right. So who wants to go first?
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Nice.
Nice.
I like it. That's nice. Mess with the rhythm a little bit, right? And also change the ending note.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was like
Yeah.
unexpected.
Yeah.
But nice.
Cool. You want to do yours? I saw you messing with it a lot.
Oh, thank you. So it's.
Yep. Yeah, that
It's
works.
quite slow.
Oh yeah. I like some of that too. Some of those trills in there. Nice. I should make Eva play last.
What?
I should make Eva play last.
So you make me get nervous.
Because Because I see you every time. You're like, oh my god, I have to follow that.
I played it like so slow.
Alright. So.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Add a harmony to it, a chord. Good. So yeah, so like, and you see how like, as you continue to add variants to these phrases, they sound different, obviously, but they feel different too. You can, when you're improvising, you can use these variants within the same idea, right? Just to reinstate the same thing and give your listener a chance to get familiar to what you're doing. A lot of the times when a listener, they disengage from your playing, it's because they can't keep up with it. It's not because your playing is bad. It could be technically great, and if you're playing, a progressive type of music where you're following chord changes, you could be right on the changes, playing beautiful ideas. But if your listener can't keep up with what you're doing, they're gonna disengage. They're gonna be like, I heard that guy, but he's boring. I don't like his playing. That doesn't mean that your playing is bad. Usually it means that you are giving them too much, so that they cannot grab onto anything. So sometimes if I'm playing an idea like that, it can be a little overwhelming, right? Just change the key. Right? I might do something else within the same. And still didn't play within the same framework. To where they have something to grab onto. And then the added benefit of that is that your ideas sound related to one another. So you sound like you know what you're doing. You're not just randomly playing notes, but you are developing a theme.
So it's like a less is more kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like more is sandwiched between like less. You know?
Yeah, right. So, but it's funny because you said less is more, and then you have Ingvar saying like, no, more is more. But I think that both ideas are true. I think you can play a lot of notes. You can play very quickly. But if you play quickly, your ideas have to be a little simpler, so your listeners can grab onto them. And if your idea is both fast and complicated, so it has a lot of information in it, repeat, say it again, and say it again, because then your listener will. And now that doesn't mean play the same thing over and over again. For instance, you can have what's called an ostinato idea, where you play the same riff or lick over and over and over again. A good example is from Cacophony, and I'm dating myself, so a lot of this music is old. But Cacophony, Marty Friedman and Jason Becker, the main theme of that song is an arpeggio in F sharp with a scale run. It's like, that's the idea. They play it like 3 or 4 times, the same idea over and over and over again. It would sound really boring, except that they have a chord progression going in the background that's basically F sharp minor. That's 1 6 4 5, I think. Or no, 1 6 4 1. So then they go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the idea. So we have. The whole thing. So then every iteration of the phrase feels different. So that idea has a lot of notes, right? And then the bass, because I think they were both, they're playing in harmony. So I think it's the rhythm section is just the bass playing some kind of galloping idea. F sharp minor is what they're outlining. And then you go to the 6, which is D major, and then B minor. Of course, it's 80s heavy metal, so it's all power chord. And then, but the harmonies that they're implying are F sharp minor, D major, B minor, F sharp minor, and they're holding it through the entire riff. So when you hear that together, if I were to play it, and you guys just give me like, or just give me the chord holding, it doesn't matter. And then right there, when I repeat, yeah. So then you get that. And I was trying to keep up with everybody. And everybody was on a different tempo. So I'm like, okay, where am I following? but you guys, I mean, I heard it. It because the harmony was different. Even though the lick was the same, it didn't feel the same. It sounded like something different. So that then your listener has a chance to sort of like take in all that information. But they don't realize they're doing all that. They just listen to it and say like, oh, that's super cool. And that's what you want. You want your listener to go, oh, that's super cool. And that goes a little bit more into like composing music and songwriting and stuff like that. It goes a little bit beyond the scope of what I want to talk about. But when you're soloing, when you're improvising, it's like you're rapid fire composing. You're just composing in real time. So I think it applies a little bit. And the central idea there was repetition. We can repeat the same idea. It's not wrong to repeat notes or repeat entire phrases, like in that case. That's an extreme case, but it works and it's extremely effective. And I'm sure there are other examples. I can think of like Metallica does that with their riffs. You know, it's a more like primitive approach to harmony because they usually just play with like one or two chords, right? Implied chords, and then they play in the rhythm. But it's super effective. It makes their hooks great. That's what Metallica is Metallica, and they sound the way they do. And so many people like them. They make so much money. Not that we're making music for money, but you know.
Doesn't hurt, yeah.
It doesn't hurt, you're right. It doesn't hurt. So, let's see. Okay, so cool. So that's. Yeah, we already talked about lifting in vibrato. We talked about picking dynamics. What's the other thing? Okay, yes. I touched a little bit on phrasing, but the one thing that I didn't talk about was the use of space. The use of in visual arts, they call it negative space, the canvas. Don't ask me anymore because I don't know anything about drawing or arts. I can barely draw stick figures. But I know about negative space because we use it in music. You know, that's what the rests are, if you're looking at notation. But more importantly, is when you slip gaps between your notes. I remember I used to play when I was younger. I would want to fill the entire space with sound. So I'd be playing with distortion, right, and just holding on to notes. And I was either articulating a note or I was holding a note, and I would never shut up. And that's like the guy that just won't shut up. Like he won't let you get a word in edgewise, right? You're trying to talk to him, and this dude is just talking. You can't have a conversation with a guy like that. I was that guy, in terms of like playing. And I had a friend who was or is saxophone player. Now he owns a different music. Trey Willis. He owns a different music school. Back in the day, we were playing together and we were jamming, and he taught me this lesson. So shout out to Trey Willis if he's watching. So we would play guitar. We're playing guitar together, and he would tell me like no man, like play with more feeling. Like he couldn't articulate. He couldn't tell me exactly what to do, but what he meant was leave more gaps. Don't play so much. So if I'm playing something, I need to leave some space. Even when I'm talking right now to you guys, I leave space for the idea to sit in. Right? Like I say something, and and then I pause, right? Because number one, I want to look at you and I want to make sure that you're understanding what I'm saying. Because otherwise I wouldn't be an effective communicator, right? And I also want to see the reaction so I can adjust, right? If I'm boring you to death, I gotta do something else. I gotta pick up my pace. I gotta get more animated, whatever. If you're falling asleep, same thing. I gotta pick up the energy, right? So I'm checking the pulse of the class. The same thing. I would do the same thing if I'm playing. I'm checking the pulse of the audience. I gotta make sure that they are engaged, that they are enjoying themselves, that they're liking what I'm doing. And you can't do that if you're always making noise. You gotta leave space. Right? So we don't have to do anything special. We can play the same phrases we were playing earlier or different ones. If you look at the basic phrases that I wrote there, they're open the tonic lines, right? So if we look at that, and because I didn't know like who was gonna show up, so I didn't want to write something super hard and then have people not be able to access these notes. All of them are either in first or second position of pentatonic, so it's very easy stuff. So notice that. So if I play it like that, it sounds like nothing, right? I'm just playing wandering around the pentatonic, right? One more time, that sounds like that. It sounds like nothing. But if I do this, now I have something that sounds a little bit more musical. And all I did was add a little bit of space, just by lengthening the note. I can do one even better. So then now I'm leaving actual space. I'm inserting rests. And then we can apply all the things that we've been talking about articulation. For instance, I added a bend and added a little vibrato on the last note. Or, we have infinite variations with these same notes on how we play them. You can play an entire chorus of a song with just that. That would be what's called a cell in classical composition, right? I'm playing the notes in the same order and playing the same thing. We can do that in blues or rock too. We just don't call it that. But I'm just taking the phrases and just the notes and then phrasing them in a certain way, and then I change the phrase and then the meaning changes. And then I phrase it a different way and the meaning changes. I saw a clinic with Paul Gilbert, and he played a song by the Dixie Chicks. You know that song, "To Become One"?
Nope.
Maybe I've heard it.
It's a pop song. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's not something you'd expect Paul Gilbert to play, right? It's like a country pop song. And
I think it's not a Spice Girls song.
oh,
is it?
I know it is. It is the
It's
Spice
a Spice
Girls.
Girls song.
Yeah, you're right. It was
Yeah,
the Dixie
okay.
Chicks. Yeah, the Spice Girls. My bad. I'm not that well versed in pop. But yeah, you're right. It was the Spice Girls. Yes.
Yes. Okay, I know that one.
Yeah. So you want to sing it? No. So,
Good pass.
yeah. So he's playing the song, right? And he plays the solo of Stairway to Heaven over it. And he changed the key and played it, and it totally worked. And once again, because the context of the song was different, the chord progression was different. The solo felt a little bit different, but it was funny because he didn't just do it. Because he's sitting there with a bunch of musicians. I think they were musicians or students, and he announced that that's exactly what he was going to do. He's like, I'm going to play this song with a riff by Black Sabbath, a solo by Led Zeppelin, and the song is by the Spice Girls. And then he launched into the song. He sung the whole song and then played. And the videos on YouTube, feel free to look it up. It's really funny and really cool to watch, because you not only, yes, he's being funny, but he is demonstrating a very important lesson in what I'm talking about, which is contextualizing what you're doing. And then you can use that in a more serious way. I mean, you can make jokes with it all day, but and it is funny. But you can also use it in a more serious way, like the way we're talking about. And there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with adding a little humor to what you're doing. I used to, and I figured out that and you guys you're probably too young to know this, but the Woody Woodpecker theme song, the cartoon.
No, I'm old enough to know that.
To know Woody Woodpecker. Okay, so it's a C major arpeggio. Right.
Yeah.
So that was that. So we'd be playing, and I'm playing jazz, and this is for a grade, and I'm doing the solo, right, and I'm playing solo, and whenever I would have to play over a C major 7 or an F major 7. Anytime I could get away with it, I would throw it. And every time I would get somebody would smile when I would do it. I was like, yes, they got it. They got the reference.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool because music ultimately is entertainment, right? So if we're all stiff and always I'm doing art up here, come on, man. No, we're having fun. I don't care how highbrow your music you're playing is. We can play classical music and we can make jokes about it.
Mm-hmm.
The jokes are a little bit more sophisticated because you have to hide it more.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody's gonna get it and somebody's gonna laugh. And that's what you want. You want to see that little smirk. They're trying to be serious, because man, this is a solemn occasion. I'm trying to be serious, but you're making me laugh. You want that. To me, that's great. I love that. Some people may not like it. It's fine. Just let them be. But I like it.
You do that with Steve Vai a lot.
I do that with Steve Vai a lot. Yes.
That song.
For the love of God.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I bring pieces of that song in a lot. Okay, so then we have. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, so let's look at something else, and that is how are we doing on time? We are a little bit over time, but it's okay. Okay. I'm sure you can edit this down. Get it? Yeah.
Got you.
Just edit in post.
Don't even worry.
Yeah.
Fix it in post.
It's gonna be 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sped up super fast.
Okay. So the other thing that I want to talk about is emotional content in the material, how to change how something feels. You see this in movie scoring a lot. You have a theme that sounds a certain way, and then there's a moment in the movie that's different, and they bring the theme back, and it's in a different mode, and now all of a sudden it sounds creepy, or it sounds sad, or something. So we can do the same thing. I used to play things Evil Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or Evil Happy Birthday, right? But we can do the same thing with Amazing Grace. If we were to play Amazing Grace, and we change the mode, and we play this in a minor key, right? So we know let's do it, make it easy, and do it in C. So then we know that we just gotta lower the third really only, but we can play with the flat 6 and the flat 7 if we want. So if we go. Spirit. So you can take now. Obviously, if you do that with a well-known melody, it's a little bit of a gimmick. It's like a spoof, a joke. It's still fun to do. I love doing that. But the practical application of doing something like this is what we were talking about earlier. You can take a lick or a phrase that you already know, and just change a couple of notes, and the feel of that phrase will change, right? So if I have, I don't know if I wrote an example. Let me look. No, I didn't write an example of this. If I do something like, let's say we have something that's in C, and I'm like, oh, there's that song.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's what is it? Is it a TikTok song or a YouTube song?
It's one of those stomp clap songs.
Yeah. So we can take that phrase, and by changing the mode, now we have something cool. Yeah, like that. And what's cool is like this phrase would work against the two. If you play that, it works against the two. It works against the five. It works against the five. And it works against the one. Too much. It's really boring. But so yeah. So don't think or don't be too caught up in the idea like, oh, like this phrase works against this chord or that chord. I mean, it can work against many different chords, and and that's actually right there is a segue to like the last thing that I wanted to do. And that was for like all of us to jam together. We'll just pick a chord progression and just play, and we'll take turns, playing, and sort of applying what we did. It would have been cool if we had like even more people, because I expected like a big jam at the end. But just with us, still we got plenty. We can make it work.
What key?
I mean, we're playing C minor, so we can just play C minor. Oh, let's do this. Let's do the, you know what? Let's play the Careless Whisper chord progression. You know that one? It's so it's 1, 4, 6, and then a minor 5. So we're going, so C minor. F minor, A flat major 7, and then fun. It was really fun, guys. Okay, good. So that's all I got for you guys today. I think we went way over what I was expecting. But this was fun, you know. It's a topic that I really love talking about and showing you guys, because I think a lot of times, especially when we have the jams, sometimes students come in and they get intimidated and they're like, oh man, that's so hard. I could never do that. And look, we did it. We sat here and we played together. And we made music together. I called the song. You guys didn't know what we were going to do. I called the song and you played wonderfully. It was great. I'm drooling.
Never played Careless Whisper for 10 minutes before, so I can.
Bucket list.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we need to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're gonna have to edit this down too. But yeah, man. So next jam, come in with these new skills, show your fellow students, and that is not the scary thing, giant hurdle they think it is to just play. That's we're playing. Little kids play all the time. We can play too.